Welcome to the IM2 video lecture. This is covering solving a quadratic equation by using the quadratic formula. Part 1. The learning target is for you to understand how to solve using the quadratic formula. Your three success criteria are 1. You should be able to find the a, b, and c terms for your quadratic equation. 2. You need to be able to recall and plug in values for the quadratic equation. And 3. You should be able to simplify and find the solutions using the quadratic equations. Let's review a core concept. So far these are the ways to solve a quadratic equation. Something on the left hand side, we saw that we can factor using the diamond method of factoring. Then we could also factor by pulling out that GCF. That was one way. We also covered on how to complete the square. Completing the square allows us to make anything factorable. Right? This is important because now there is something that we need to be able to do when we cannot factor, we cannot use the GCF, and as well as completing the square. So this is the quadratic formula. Notice here 2x squared minus 5x plus 3 equals to 0. Notice a is not equal to 1. You cannot pull out the GCF. There is no GCF. So from the problem, we are going to plug it in using this quadratic formula. What is the quadratic formula? It's that x is equal to negative b plus and minus the square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. This is the quadratic equation or the quadratic formula. The beautiful part about this is that you can skip the factoring step and factored form and just get to the answer. Then as a result, you get the answer. There are always two answers for right now. Let's look at the core concept. Here we have that problem from before, 2x squared minus 5x plus 3 equals to 0. Okay, we put the equation in standard form. It's already in standard form, so we can move to step 1. Find the a, b, and c. A equals to 2, b equals to negative 5, and c equals to 3. Notice now you plug everything into that quadratic formula. Here, I just leave spaces so I could plug the values in, as well as when I make the substitution, it's in the parentheses. I also color code this so you should not get lost. X is equal to negative 5, because that is the b term, plus and minus the square root, parentheses, negative 5 squared, minus 4, parentheses 2, parentheses 3. Divide that over by 2 times parentheses 2. Now, we want to simplify. I get 5 plus and minus square root of 1 divided by 4. That 5 came from the negative times the negative 5. The bottom, 2 times 2. But where did that 1 come from? This is when I use my Desmos graphing calculator to help me out. I don't know what was inside that parentheses, right? So I just enter it. Okay, I enter it the same exact way I see it. And in that process, I saw that it got me 1. Notice my life was so much easier when I just plugged this into Desmos. I knew what was under the radical. That's why I got it as radical 1. We know that radical 1 is just equals to 1. Radical 1 is just equal to 1. So your first solution would just be 5 plus 1 divided by 4. Okay. If you plug that into Desmos, you get 6 over 4 or 3 over 2. Let me show you. You have 5 plus 1. Divide that by 4. Notice it gets me 1.5. If you hit this symbol to the right hand side of the calculator, you can convert it into a fraction. That's how you get your 3 over 2. The other side. If you want to use Desmos, you select this, Control C to copy, you paste it, but now just change the addition to a subtraction. Okay, this gets you 1. There you go. Oop. You were able to now get the solution automatically, and it equals to 1. The hardest part here is making sure you know how to plug it into Desmos to simplify. Right? Let's do one more problem, which is the example problem. 8x squared minus 20x plus 15 is equal to 6x. Notice this is not in standard form. What we need to do is to get rid of that 6x. So subtract 6x to both sides. Okay, you get as a result 8x squared minus 26x plus 15 equals to 0. Step 1, find the a, b, and c. A equals to 8, b equals to negative 26, c equals to 15. Do not get discouraged with the big numbers. It's going to work out. Trust the process. Step 2, plug everything into the quadratic formula. X is equal to negative 26 plus and minus the radical parentheses negative 26 squared minus 4 times 8 times 15 divided by 2 times 8. Okay, let's see what it simplifies to. We're going to use decimals to multiply the large numbers here. Right? So it was parentheses negative 26 squared minus 4 parentheses 8 parentheses 15. So we saw that it was the radical 196. Okay, so it was 26 because the negative times the negative is a positive. So 26 on bottom, 2 times 8 is 16. Plus and minus the radical 196. And again, decimals here shows to you why inside that radical was equal to 196. Let's see, can we simplify radical 196? Yes, it equals to 14. So we can just simplify that equals to 26 plus and minus 14 over 16. Okay, so your two solutions. X is equal to 26 plus 14 equals to 16. No, sorry, 26 plus 14 divided by 16. Do we have an answer for that? Let's take a look. 26 plus 14 gets us 2.5. We hit the symbol. That converted to 5 over 2. So 5 over 2 was the first one. Okay, the second solution was when we subtracted. So let's do that. Select this, Control C, which is to copy, Control V is to paste it. Change the addition to a subtraction. Oh, 0.75. But again, I could click on this symbol to convert it into a fraction. I get 3 over 4. 3 over 4. There you go. I just got my solution for this quadratic formula. Let's do one practice problem to just finish this up. And I'm going to pick this one to help you. Okay? All right. So here we have to get it into standard form by subtracting 10 to both sides. Okay? You get 3x squared plus 8x plus 5 equals to 0. Your a is 3, your b equals to 8, your c equals to 5. Plug it into the quadratic equation. X is equal to negative 8 plus and minus radical parentheses 8 squared minus 4 times 3 times 5. Divide this all over 2 times 3. We know that the outside is just negative 8 plus and minus a radical something. Divide that over by a 6. We need to know what's inside that radical. Okay, so let's just plug that into decimals. 8 squared plus and minus 4 times 3 times 5. Okay. Yep, that gets us a 4. Good. So inside the radical was a 4. Okay, but we know what radical 4 is though. Let's just take a look if we don't. Radical 4 is just equal to 2. So it's negative 8 plus and minus 2 divided by 6. Your two solutions are x is equal to negative 8 plus 2 divided by 6. Your second solution is x is equal to negative 8 divided by 2. Negative 8 subtract 2 divided by 6. The first one, once you plug it in, you should get a negative 1. And on the right hand side, let me show you. So the first one was negative 8 plus 2 divided by 6. That got you negative 1. And then the second one was when it subtract that got us a negative 1.6666. Convert it, gets you negative 5.3. All right. So there you go. All right. Make sure you are using these notes. Tells you use decimals, the scientific calculator, to simplify the fraction if all possible. Right. And we saw that decimals allowed us to figure out the calculations without mixing us up. All right. So there you go. This is everything that you need to understand to solve this, to solve using the quadratic formula.